normal people, because we're just people. I am seriously just a normal person. As I can't emphasize this enough, a normal person. I'm kind of just a normal person. A lot of other normal people, like me. I am a normal person. I'm a normal person. I'm kind of just a dude. I was just your average apolitical citizen. So back to my point. I'm a normal person. We normal people. Because we're just people. I am seriously just a normal person. As I can't emphasize this enough, a normal person.
I don't know if it's far-fetched to ask, but Russian actor could be continuing to fuel things as this protest grows, but perhaps even instigating it from the outset.
Although it may take several decades for the process of transformation to unfold, combat will likely take place in new dimensions, in space, cyberspace, and perhaps the world of microbes. Space itself will become a theater of war as nations gain access to space capabilities and come to rely on them. Further, the distinction between military and commercial space systems, combatants and non-combatants, will become blurred. Information systems will become an important focus of attack, particularly for U.S. enemies seeking to short-circuit sophisticated American forces, and advanced forms of biological warfare that can target specific genotypes may transform biological warfare from the realm of terror to a politically useful tool.
Let's get ready to spread 'em. Yes, it worked.
It did work.
The whole intro.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Calm down.
Yeah.
You seem quiet now. Am I quiet?
Really?
Yeah.
No, you sound fine.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Fucking tech, man. All right, welcome everybody. Friday Night Live. Let's spread it, etc. Rain up in the Yukon. What's going on up there? You've not only shot down a strange object up there, but also had the shooter down himself up there, didn't you?
The shooter down himself?
Trudeau personally shot down that unidentified object over Yukon, didn't he?
Yeah, Trudeau was here for a day or two, a couple of days, I think. Yes.
Couple of days.
Couple of days, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you went down and talked to him?
No.
Funny you mention. No.
Yeah, no, I stayed clear of that disaster. Yeah.
Yeah, I might be tempted to do something.
Yeah, like go fishing or something, you know. I think that's what I do. Go fishing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably the healthy choice.
Yeah. But yeah, they're telling residents of Mayo and Dawson apparently to stay indoors because there's aliens running around. So
What?
Yeah.
Source?
So Facebook. I don't know.
Good old Facebook.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. Well, apparently where they shot this thing down, allegedly, it's pretty remote. You know. So I don't even know if they got into where they think they shot it down, whatever it was, but it was probably some kid's fucking chemistry project or something.
Well, what were they saying?
Not much, really. I mean, just that there was some kind of object in the sky over the Yukon that they shot down. I don't think they really clarified what they thought it was. So just that there was debris after the fact, and they were going to send in kind of a team that comprised of both Canadian and American forces to go recover whatever the hell it was. Yeah. So I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, wow.
But I mean, I don't know if you saw that one that was in the States that got shot down. There was an actual school. I think it was a school or a hobby group of some sort came forward and said it was just like one of their balloons that they put up there because it went missing.
What?
Like, yeah, they're like, our balloon went missing, and they had GPS on it, and it oddly went missing at the exact time they apparently shot that thing down over the North Carolina coast or whatever it was, or South Carolina coast, and yeah, so who knows, man?
I'm trying to find this.
I forget where I saw that. It might have been Mark Dice.
That's entirely what I was expecting, or what the Chinese actually said, which is, yeah, they're balloons.
Right.
Yeah. They went off course. Sorry. That's probably the most likely explanation, seeing how the country of origin said, "Yeah, sorry about that."
Sorry about that.
Yeah, they're actually just balloons.
Yeah.
But no, it's fucking Chinese spy balloons, bro. Like, and what's with the news cycles lately? Like, God, the most overused phrase is clown world, but it's just literally like, you press the fucking balloon button, and that's all anyone's going to talk about for 10 days, and every 2 days, there's going to be another fucking balloon.
Yeah.
That's all we're going to fucking talk about now is fucking balloons and unknown objects in the sky that dissolve into vapor when you shoot them down.
Yeah.
The first Chinese spy balloon, it had this structure underneath it. It looked like fucking Skylab, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You can't tell me there's nothing found of that. Come on.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there's like multiple friggin' train derailments and 18-wheeler derailments spilling.
Oh yeah, that's what let's get into next. So 10 days of balloons. Okay, 10 days. All right, looks like some people are starting to tweet like we don't believe this Chinese spy balloons. Okay, train derailments,
Yeah.
chemical explosions and leaks. All of a sudden, it's just like every other day. There's a new what?
Yeah.
Like what?
Apparently there was one in Montreal. I didn't hear about that one, but I read it.
One in Ontario.
Oh, really? Wow.
One in Ontario. Two big ones in America. There's that derailment, and then there was like some other kind of burn they had to do.
Well, there was the one in Palestine that they blew up.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then there's at least another one in America.
there's more than one. I think there's been 4 or 5 in the past week and a half.
Sure. Well, there you go. Right. I mean, I'm not trying to overclaim because honestly, I'm at this fucking clown world fucking news cycle where it's just like, oh, they're selling chemical disbursement now. They're selling it. I mean, like, how can all this stuff just happen at once? How can all of a sudden there's shit all over North American airspace, just out of the blue, and then just out of the blue there are chemical leaks and burns all over America and Canada, all at once. Either this stuff's going on all the time, and they're just making a headline out of it, like COVID deaths, or somebody's doing something. I mean, this shit happens once fucking a decade, like, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just so bizarre, and it takes over the news cycle, and I can't wait to see what actually happened in each week. Eventually, we're going to go back and go, hey, remember those fucking balloons? Well, during that week, this government passed this legislation. This fucking person got off scot-free from some indictment or something, and they lost another $2 trillion of Pentagon money or something, right?
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, like,
wasn't there talk recently that the Epstein files that Giselle had were going to be released finally? Something?
No, that looks like a limited hangout, which somewhat ironically leads to Whitney Webb. Familiar with Whitney Webb?
No, who's that again?
An astounding American researcher, kind of like female Matthew Ehret, American female Matthew Ehret.
Oh, okay.
Where it's just like if you let her talk, she'll just give you like 40 years of concrete proof of malfeasance and remember every name and every connection ever. Just put an amazing series of books called America Under Blackmail that uncovers. She went in to look into Epstein, and it opened up this shit where collusion between intelligence agencies, government, and the mob to sexually blackmail people and shit like this. Woo! Right. But anyway,
yeah.
What were we talking about? The limited hangout of yes. So they're like, oh, don't worry, we're going to totally release the black book or the diary, the client list or something. But it's not quite that. She was on Redacted, the last episode of Redacted yesterday. You can check up queue up Redacted with Whitney Webb, and she explains it. It's like it's just a fake out. It doesn't really name anybody. It doesn't really give anything new.
Of course not.
No, they're like selling it as if the FBI is just we're gonna drop that shit. And she points out very clearly in cases of stuff like this, sexual exploitation and trafficking and stuff, the FBI has this incredible tendency to not release the client lists.
No, ever.
Yeah. So much for that. Q Essence, welcome, friend. We're going to stay on YouTube for a little bit to say hi to y'all, and then we're going to shut her down so we can actually talk. Certain things you can't say on here, like Constitution or freedom, or or white,
human rights.
Yeah. Lori Lee on Facebook. Hey, welcome.
Always
kind of a new face here on the stream. Good to see you. Distractions, the whole look over here while we do this over there. Crazy aliens that totally agree with you too. Yeah, good for you, Lori. Yeah, like I said, we're going to find out later. I mean, right now, we might do a sneak peek later. I'm working on a video follow-up to our Metabiota video. and there's a whole bunch of stuff like that in there. But 20 years later, you're looking back at stuff, and you're realizing that they whited out an entire news cycle while they like moved in cranes to Iraq to remove the fucking biological fucking research facilities that Iraq had that may or may not have shown up in Ukraine 10 years later. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good, man. I think we'll take a little peek at that later.
Yeah.
We're getting close, though. Getting close on these fuckers, man. On Hunter Biden and fucking Echo Health Alliance and these fuckers that have been playing with these bugs for like 20 years and selling us on these bugs and selling us fucking insurance against the bugs and selling us vaccines. We're getting close.
It feels like we're getting close, but I mean, God, do you really think anyone's going to fucking take the fall for any of this ever? I doubt it.
It depends how it goes, right? Like, no, I don't think so, right? I mean, it's like any kind of white collar crime, you can only expect so much, and then like kick. My expectation is Pfizer and Bourla will get pushed out. I think that's always been their role to play, and he's probably been given just a massive, parachute for when that happens. But I think the reason that we've always been so Pfizer focused, brought to you by Pfizer, is that their role to play in this is they're going to be one of the fall guys. And Albert Bourla, the CEO, he might take some kind of hit, right? Might have to go through a court trial or something. But I mean, no, I don't think anyone's unless we can pull up something too randy and too nasty that can beat this news cycle wipe that we're in right now, right? Something that can just get over.
Yeah.
There's still a threshold. There's still like something that you could get out that could wake enough people up. It could still, turn things, right?
Yeah. Well, if it did happen, I still think immediately I would think that it's a bait and switch scenario. Like they'll take down, somebody fairly large will take the fall, but only for somebody equally evil to take their place and be ushered into the new best.
And
right? So
they've thought of this. I mean, they've thought of all these contingencies. Contingencies are what these guys are all about.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, they've thought of this, and I mean, looking to the answer video that we did, based off Dr. David Martin's research, is like, it's funny, 2 years later people mostly still don't know this, and Operation Warp Speed is a combination Department of Defense and public relations campaign, and Pfizer and Moderna and BioNTech, they're just subcontractors. So this was all the contingency was all figured out beforehand. The big pharma don't have any horse in the race. You can't even blame them for anything. They're just subcontractors.
Yeah.
And good luck going after Answer and Forest Marsh and all these ridiculously giant and powerful companies. They're always just going to say, it's Department of Defense. And then in America, conveniently, you can't sue the government.
Right. Yeah. So other than that, what else is going on? We got the government's kind of going ahead with their gun confiscation buyback program, apparently. That's coming.
Yeah, you watch that a lot closer. I'm in downtown Ottawa with exactly 0 arms. You're in outside of Whitehorse, Yukon with shitloads of arms. So you follow us a lot closely. Where are we at with Canada's confiscation scene?
Well, apparently they're supposed to enact something mid-March-ish, I think. I mean, they're still talking about a buyback, which, yeah, I guess. And then I think I also read something about they're bringing in an outside contractor to deal with the roundup. I don't know if that's potentially true or not, but yeah.
That sounds right.
Seems a little, the details seem a little sketchy at the moment. Like nobody's really sure what's exactly going on, but yeah, it's definitely something's coming down the pipe here.
What's passed as law? Like, what's the law right now?
Well, the initial long gun ban that they did, geez, that's got to be 2-3 years ago now. They banned certain types of, AR type platform weapons, which some of them were that and some of them weren't. So those became immediately illegal, and you could still possess them, but you couldn't basically, you basically had to keep it locked in your safe, and you couldn't take it anywhere, shoot it, do anything with it. It just, basically becomes a paperweight at that point. So that never changed. That's still in effect. So I'm wondering if that's the buyback that they're talking about, because they did initially talk about a buyback for those weapons that they banned outright. So maybe it's that. And then past that, well, the new one was the handgun ban, which still went forward, and it's law as far as I know. Like, you can't purchase handguns anywhere in Canada anymore, and if you own them, I think it's the same thing. It's got to stay in your safe, and that's it. You can't do anything with it. You can't sell it. You can't take it anywhere. You can't shoot it. So it's just another paperweight. So yeah, I don't know. That's that as far as the laws go. I think that's it for now. They haven't targeted anything else, but it's coming. Like, it's they
Oh
tried.
God, yeah.
Well, Trudeau tried to do it with the amendment to the handgun bill, which finally they took a pause on. They didn't scrap it. They just took a pause on it. But I mean, it's guaranteed they're going to push ahead with that again, try to sneak something through. I mean, that's what he did in the beginning with the long gun ban on the restricted, the AR type platforms. That didn't even go through the House of Commons or the Senate. He backdoored that in some secret weird way that, really, a lot of prime ministers haven't really used that avenue before, as far as I know. It's kind of shady what he did, really.
I didn't know about that. I thought it was a full-on bill. He did it as like some kind of weird executive order type device.
Something like that.
He's
Yeah.
done a lot of that. Yeah, he's done a lot of that. We'll have to look into what that process is.
Yeah.
Because it's strange, in Canada, we usually just pass our little C bills and off they go. He must have done it as some kind of direct order to one of our ministries.
It was something like that. I don't remember the exact language surrounding it, but yeah, it was kind of shady what he did. It definitely bypassed the Senate. Like, it didn't even get to the Senate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't a bill per se. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I care, but I don't care at the same time. I mean, if, I'm hoping, if I can't no longer have that one rifle that I do have, I mean, if they'll give me some cash for it, at least, whatever, I got lots more, so whatever. I don't care about one.
So as a semi-prolific gun owner, you're not a gun nut, but you're on your way. What can you use? What can you take out of your closet? Can you go to a range? Can you hunt?
Oh yeah, we can still take our long gun, as in rifles and shotguns. We can still use those for hunting and target practice or whatever. Those are still at the moment. But I mean, the amendment that Trudeau was trying to just put forth that got, like I said, that he took the pause on. I mean, that was allegedly going to target, quite a few bolt action rifles as well, which, was ridiculous. So we'll see. And I mean, if it had that and went through, then yeah, that might have, taken quite a few more guns that I have off the list for sure.
Yeah. I remember being raised, and very stark for me, spending kind of my junior high through high school years in America. And they put posters up in the schools showing like 87,000 dead from guns in the United States, and then a Canadian flag below it saying 18 dead from guns.
Right.
Back in the 80s and stuff. So it's like, liberals, you don't get it both way, right? Like, all down there, they were putting those posters up in schools. Now, in hindsight, I'm like, hello, the slow takeover of the schools. Putting up propaganda like that in my school when I was like, I think that was like elementary, like the last grade elementary school,
Yeah.
So there's already woke propaganda going on then. And that's I don't want to talk about how long ago that was, 40 years, I would say. But you don't get it both ways. Canada's got all these fucking millions of guns, and we got 18 people killed in a year.
Well, if
So
you
what
eliminate,
the fuck are we doing? Why do we have to confiscate them all?
well, yeah, if you eliminated the gang violence, the gang shootings and stuff in the major cities, and any, shooting that's basically either tied to organized crime or drugs or anything like that, shit, the number of deaths by firearms in Canada is probably still only about 18 a year.
Yeah, it's like a couple of low double digits.
I'd be, yeah, I bet you the number's low as hell.
When you take out all the people that, if they can't get them at Walmart, they're going to get them out the back of a truck.
Well, that's the way it always. Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, that's the rub. I mean, the reality is they can ban all the guns they want. The criminals, are still going to freaking get them across the border or get them black market or get them wherever the hell they want. And it's nothing's going to change on that front. Nothing.
Yeah. That's the weird argument. But I mean, they're the same people that are passing laws to ban cars now before we have a replacement are the ones that are just ban the cars and the earth will heal itself. Just ban the guns and no one will die.
Yeah.
Like do like back to clown world. Fuck, man. Like, how do you even? You can't even deal with these people. Like, what can you even say?
No. Well, once again, I mean, the more not conspiracy leaning types, conservatives might think that Trudeau's just doing this to get political points, but I think I've always believed they're smarter than that. I mean,
who is?
Well, the government and the liberals. I mean, I think they're honestly just trying to get guns out of the hands of people. Period. They can go friggin', totalitarian friggin' Stalin if they want,
Yeah, why bother going through that whole like house to house search thing and having to try to occupy zones? Because I mean, they try to like pull all their shit tomorrow. There's going to be vast swaths of Canada and America that are just going to arm right the fuck up and don't tread on me and come get me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's, oh my God, then you got to mobilize fucking troops and cops, house to house. It can be one Waco after another. But if you can just get all the guns before you even pull all this shit, get all the guns and then 15-minute cities. Let's go.
It's interesting though, like I said earlier, that when it comes to this confiscation thing that they're talking about doing now, they're bringing in an outside contractor to deal with this. So who exactly is this outside contractor, right? So I mean, you're right. From a technical standpoint, it's going to be a complete clusterfuck trying to go around door to door, all over rural Canada or anywhere in Canada for that matter, trying to collect all these guns. It's going to be a statistical nightmare. But, who knows? I mean, once again, I don't know that they'd necessarily even, put forth a plan without thinking this through first. So I have to believe they probably thought it through.
Yeah, well, they got contingencies, but just try right now while you've got your coalition with the even further left NDP to ram all this shit through and just get everybody to give you your guns. It'll just make it that much easier later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure if they actually, institute a buyback program and the cash that they're prepared to give for certain firearms or whatever, if they legitimately do that, there probably will be a lot of people, including myself, to just hand them in.
Get rid of a couple of those impulse buys.
Well, the one I've got that's on the ban list now. I mean, I never freaking use the thing anyway. I mean, it's just it's just
kind of a lark.
Once a year or once every couple of years, and go boom, 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 whatever.
Is it that fucking Israeli one I shot?
I'm not. Might have been. Yeah, that might.
Yeah, that Israeli one that was like. It was fun, but yeah, it's like,
I'm not going home.
You should try. Oh, look, some deer.
Before too. I mean, I have no illusions. I mean, if the military or the government's coming for me, there's no there's no last stand waiting to happen. You know, like I don't, you know, doesn't matter how many guns I've got. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
they're you know, I'm not
You're not going to repulse them.
like these guys are, right? You know,
You're not going to repulse them.
no, you know, I might wing a couple, but you know,
You might delay it by 48 hours.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I'm still going out in a body bag, one way or the other.
But the point, well, that's the point, though. The point is that you're going to do that 48 hours.
Well, I guess, yeah. You know, I don't know. You know,
Oh, come on. You will. If it comes down to that, you're going to total Ruby Ridge.
well, if they're coming in guns blazing on me, you know, if I'm just
Yeah.
sitting on the porch having a tea and a cigarette, and they start to open fire from the highway, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
take cover.
You're going to be like,
you know,
all right, order 216.
yeah, order 216.
Yeah, your whole property like transforms and these walls go up and mounted cannon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just silly, you know.
So I'm going to paste something in here. I am Watcher on Rumble. Sorry for any slow replies, guys. Rumble, we love Rumble's openness, but boy, do they have, they got a long way to go with tech. We can't bring chats in automatically. I'm a Watcher into our stream. So I'm going to paste this in and put it on because it's interesting. From Rumble user, I'm a Watcher. Hey, I'm a Watcher. The outside contractor would be UN groups. You guys are familiar with that process? Yes. Yeah, there's been lots of talk about that, right?
Yep.
Lots of talk about that. And I mean, if anyone's gonna bow down and expose their rear to the UN, it's going to be Trudeau.
Yep.
It's been proven to be nothing but eroding our sovereignty since day one. Just feels that we should be the WHO and they should all be running everything that we do here. They're just wiser. They're the experts. So, but it would also be a hell of a thing, though. I mean, it would still be a hell of a thing. They'd have to handle it carefully. I think even a lot of normie Canadians would be like, what? There were like UN troops here to pick up guns? They'd have to handle it very carefully.
I don't know. Would they? The normies?
Geez, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Normies probably think it's great. They'd be out there cheering them on.
Yeah, oh boy, finally. Someone's given the UN teeth.
Yeah.
To get these right-wing extremists.
And the normies were perfectly fine with the unvaccinated getting rounded up and getting thrown into camps or just outright shot and killed.
And having their bank accounts stolen.
So, I mean,
yeah.
For a second that they're not going to cheer on the UN.
Yeah, you're right. Whip up foment the hatred enough. And, I mean, they've shown they'll accept anything.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. The East Coast tweeted today kind of his disappointment in the finding. Oh, we can share that, actually. Shocker. The commissioner in the Freedom, the Emergency Act, found that Trudeau had cause to call the Emergency Act and declare martial law in Canada. Yeah, shocker.
I was watching a bit of that there on CBC right before we started tonight. Yeah, shocker. Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could tell that was all a whitewash. And, this site that I'm sharing, ironically, the Justice Center seems to be at the heart of the problem. They seem like they're just a giant, CSIS, which is Canada's CIA operation. They're just in there and they collect money for, constitutional causes and then lose.
Yeah.
That Keith Wilson guy that was the lawyer for the truckers and stuff is a fucking moron. And lost the case. And these guys seem to be professionally losing so they can continue to fundraise.
Yeah.
Very interesting. We're going to have BJ Gettr on, one of the quote-unquote, leaders of the truckers. We had him on a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, and we'll have to have him back on and get an update because there's been lots of drama in the background. Freedom Convoy, there's been people releasing stuff proving that he is the big like controlled op and stuff like that.
What there is?
Yeah. One guy that was involved with the convoy releasing stuff, and they're claiming that BJ Gettr is the big like insider, and documents are getting dropped. It's getting dirty. So I think we should have BJ back and get him to summarize this stuff, because almost exactly 1 year later, we're just like a few days away from when the Emergency Act was declared and government rolled.
Right.
Yeah, we're just a few days away.
Or maybe try to get somebody who actually has a different opinion. That might be interesting too, right?
Whew. Oh, geez. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. The one thing about the left is they don't like talking to us. They don't like being.
No, if there's people out there that are saying BJ was or DJ.
Yeah.
DJ?
I actually in Twitter DMs with some of those people.
Yeah.
And
Tamara apparently has a different point of view, so I don't know.
Yeah, Tamara's so high visibility that Tamara Litch, for anyone American watchers maybe don't know the details, was really focused on as the leader of the truckers, even though there really wasn't any leadership of the truckers. It was much more anarchic than that. But there's a group of three that ended up being kind of the de facto ones that went on, did all the interviews and stuff. But by no means would they give marching orders to everyone. It's much more like anonymous, But everyone focused on Tamara Litch. I don't know because she's a girl or what, but all the focus ended up on her. So she's highly walled off by lawyers and activist groups and stuff as well. BJ Gettr has trouble talking to her. She's
I'm not sure any of it matters. Just like that spread we did a while ago about that other thing.
Mm-hmm.
The thing.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the truckers came out. That they were protesting maybe a couple of different things, but it was still fairly unified. And the government acted the way they did and shit all over our freedoms and rights. And I think that's the story. What Leach or Gettr or King did, I don't give a fuck.
It's a sideshow. And I'll tell you right now, in the circles that we're floating in on Twitter, it's the same goddamn thing. There's people just obsessed day and night with proving that Robert Malone or Peter McCulloch, they're actually CIA ops and they're leading us all astray, or Jordan Peterson's controlled opposition and is actually getting checks from the United Nations. And so it's like, Jesus, like, that is not the work that we have to do right now. We need heads to roll in court.
Yeah, exactly.
We need governments out. We need to catalog laws that are broken. If Robert Malone right now is helping us find information that will put assholes behind bars, I don't care if the CIA is paying him.
Yeah,
we'll find that out later.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's fine. I don't. BJ's controlled op. The other guy, the accountant's controlled op. Tamara Litch herself is controlled op. The whole time, turns out she was a CSIS operative. I mean, who fucking cares? There's still like tens, like, over like what was it, 5 weeks, the convoy? It's like probably 50, 60, 70,000 people showed up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about any of that. The people showed up. We spoke. We had our word, and we have a job now. And it's nothing. One of them turns out to be a rat. I mean, what does it mean to me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I'd love people to get off of this shit.
Yeah,
everyone, we got to be careful, right? Because we know that COINTELPRO is done on movements, right? We know that people are inserted into movements.
Yeah.
So we got to be careful, but at the same time, it's like, doesn't change the facts on the ground and what we need to do.
No, exactly. It doesn't.
No. And it makes it about the people instead of the issues. And
Yeah.
to get this cult of personality thing going.
Yeah. Well, exactly. You're absolutely correct. I mean, all that stuff is just designed to distract everybody from what really should be happening or getting done, or it's always been that way. It's
Yeah.
what they,
We saw an example this week on Twitter. One of the people who's like the real like leader and organizer of the group of dissidents that were in on Twitter got his Twitter account shut down because it started to be like infighting accusations and stuff that escalated. It has nothing to do with proving whether like COVID's fake or the vaccines are fake or they're dangerous or that was all a lie or what crimes government committed. Just personal infighting bullshit that exploded.
Mhm.
And he got banned, and he was so mad. He's like, "Fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore." And that's exactly how these things work.
Yeah.
I don't understand people's. It's like trying to decide if you want to see a movie or if you like a movie because Tom Cruise is in it.
Yeah.
It's like that's not the movie. The movie's the story, it's direction, cinematography, the crew, all this stuff makes a movie good. Whether Tom Cruise is in it, it might be a little bit of a bump, but he's not going to make it good. I mean, just go watch The Mummy.
Right. Yeah.
And people just get so focused on these individuals, these fucking rock stars of the anti-vax movement or whatever, and stuff. And I'm just sitting there like, are you giving me information I can use? Great. I don't care if you're a CIA.
So what was that tweet from East Coast? Did we even put that up? And did we get there?
Oh, you want to see that?
Did we get there? I don't know.
No. I talked about it, but I'll get it.
All right.
Yeah, just give me a sec. Pull that shit up. Yeah. So what's Yukon like? Is it livable right now? Is it getting warm or?
It's decent. Yeah, it's not horrible. Still below zero a ways, but it's not bad. Hey? 28. It was minus 28 below this morning, which was weirdly cold.
Oh, that's pretty hard.
We went out on the lake anyway and fished all day, so it wasn't too bad. Well, we didn't get any fish. It sucked, but it's an excuse to go on the lake and sit in a tent and drink some beer and play hooky from work.
The hell with work.
The hell with work.
There you go.
I can't see it. I'll have to zoom in.
There you go. Well, looks like let me see. Well, looks like they basically gave, no, I can't do East Coast.
No.
Looks like they basically gave permission for Justin Trudeau to play God. Yeah, kind of. Getting there. That's hard accent, man. Down East is hard.
Yeah,
So expect them to pick up where he left off in early 2022 for your own safety. And then I replied, silver lining. A future conservative government can jail and confiscate bank accounts of future lefty BLM abortion Soros activists, peaceful or not, will relish the schadenfreude.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's what these idiots don't fucking get. We can do this to them. Once they make it okay, we can do it to them.
Yeah.
They're acting as if there's only Justin Trudeau will be in power forever.
Yeah.
They're so stupid.
Don't give them any ideas.
Hey, yeah, and I mean, they're working on it, right?
Well, technically, that's the weird thing about Canadian politics, right? I mean, he technically could be. Like, there's no limit to how many times that guy can get voted into office.
No,
right?
There's no limit. Yeah, there's no limit. There's no limit.
Yeah.
It's just that he has to call an election eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there's no limit. And especially with him and the identical New Democratic Party here, as long as they agree to make a coalition, he could stay in power infinitely.
Yeah. So does that work even? Please tell me that doesn't work if, like, there's an election, say, and and the vote is split basically three ways, 33%, but the Conservatives get that 34. Like, do they still get a minority government at that point, or is it possible for the Liberals and NDP?
Yeah, you're a minority, and then NDP and Liberals could still conjoin and create a majority in Parliament, a voting bloc.
Right, but with the Conservatives,
right? So your party could win the election, have a minority government, and in the parliamentary system, it's a death toll for. It's usually just a couple of years until you're back in an election again, because you can't pass anything. At any moment, your opponents can trigger a no confidence vote and bring down your government.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But in that scenario, the Conservative would still be prime minister.
Yes. Yeah. And it's happened a lot. It happened a lot throughout our history, especially for conservative governments. I think Harper managed to hold on to a minority government for quite a while.
Right.
Yeah. It would take some gamesmanship to keep it going. But the way that the rhetoric is ratcheted up now, I mean, you can't. Can you imagine the NDP agreeing to go along with the Conservatives on anything?
Yeah, it'd be a cold day in hell probably, but
yeah. So whereas in the past you certainly could, you could have Jack Layton or Ed Broadbent, New Democrats, certainly work with the Conservatives on something if they gave them concessions,
right,
without people calling for their heads. But I mean, if Jagmeet Singh of the NDP were, after calling everybody else except him racist, were to now go along and support a conservative, and he's already called Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the Canadian Conservative Party, he's already called him fucking racist and all this shit. So they can't compromise. So we could have that very scary opportunity. You get the Conservatives in finally, but they could be in a minority situation and not be able to pass anything, be kind of broken, not be able to do much. Yeah. Unless they're way better at political Game of Thrones than we think they are.
Right.
Harper was. I think Harper was. He was able to have minority governments for like quite a while.
Ooh.
And that takes like backroom deals and kind of, you got to make it so that the government, your opponents wouldn't dare bring down your government because of something or other.
Yep.
Yeah.
One guy.
I miss Harper now.
Yeah, this is one dude. I forget his name. I just saw this week. Was predicting that Trudeau might actually step down as prime minister.
Yeah. Oh, we've been hearing that for a while. I mean, it's got to be stressful on the poor little fucking pussy.
Yeah. I don't know. Hard to say.
I think he relishes the kingship a hell of a lot, man. I'd have a hard time seeing that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think he thinks he deserves it, and he is the light and the way.
Yep. I guess polls wise, I think it's still pretty close, isn't it? I don't think the Conservatives are massively ahead in the poll.
No, I haven't seen a recent one. I mean, the Poilievre wave was huge. That did a lot for them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, not that it matters. I mean, obviously I'd take Poilievre over Trudeau, any day of the week. But, I'm not convinced the Conservatives are going to, they might ease up on some things that people are bitching about, but they'll probably slide in other friggin' measures that are just going to fuck us in the long run just as bad.
Well, they're much like the Republicans in the States. They've learned they've got to be somewhat populist. They can't just be a liberal light like they have been. Poilievre's smart, and his people are smart, that they realize that they've got to at least play up to us a bit, and there are definitely red lines that they can't go past.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, I mean, it's going to be like infinitely better just to have kind of asshole, inept Canadian Conservative Party in power than it is Trudeau. Trudeau's so clown world, it doesn't even count anymore. Yeah.
I've already told, most of my friends up here, like the digital ID, for example. I mean, that seems something totally up the Conservative alley that they would, potentially implement.
Yeah, not seeing a whole lot of pushback from them on that. They're going to love that as
Yeah.
well. They're going to love central bank digital currency. They're going to love that. And in Canada, as in most other nations, the Conservative Party pushed back exactly zero on mandates, lockdowns, vaccines.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Mm.
Nothing until it became obviously politically expedient.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a few kind of lip service kind of points to it.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the whole thing, going like, let's end the lockdowns and stuff. Well, thanks. Where were you 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Where you were standing up in question period in Parliament, giving shit to Trudeau for not vaccinating us enough.
Yeah.
You assholes. Like, you got to do it beforehand, not afterhand.
Yeah.
Now we're dealing with the thousands of fucking deaths and injuries. Now we're dealing with it. You got to do it beforehand, not after. Fucking dickwads.
Yeah. Well, this is still what burns my ass probably the most about everything when it comes to the normies is the fact that, you know, before the mandates rolled out, you know, not only Trudeau, but virtually every premier and political leader across the country said they would never enforce mandates.
That's the biggest crime, isn't it? Right? They said they wouldn't. Trudeau basically said that it was unthinkable in Canada.
Yeah, they would never do
We don't do that here.
And then just overnight, they all did it, pretty much.
It's like 90 days later, and he's like, fuck you, get mandated. If you don't get mandated, you're a racist.
Yeah. You know?
From that to that, and like you say, for the normies to not go, what?
Yeah, I know. I don't think they, like I said before, I wonder how much they actually pay attention. Like, I think they just get CBC sound bites, and that's the limit of their attention span, I think.
I have lots of friends that are kind of across the spectrum, so I think I can speak to that. You've got with my friends, you know, like I'm an older guy and my older kind of guy friends and stuff like that. They tend to hew to the tough guy liberal view. So these are the like, oh, I wish I could meet that Trump in an alley. I'd fucking show him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what do you got against immigrants? Fucking right-wing bigot. I'll beat it out of you. There's this kind of like tough guy liberal thing.
Yeah.
Which is this bizarre structure that's been built around them actually being conservatives. They don't realize it. They're actually conservative.
Yeah.
They're like the first people to be like, not everyone gets a fucking gold patch, you know. Don't fucking whine to me. I don't want to hear it. These kind of guys, right? But they've been sucked in by this tale that anything that's right wing, scare quotes, is going after the weak. We're attacking the weakest in society because we're a bunch of dicks.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you fucking dicks, I'll show you. And that's what I'm finding endemic across society. Like, you know, when the lockdowns got really bad and I had to fucking admit it and go work back in the kitchen, the boss of the kitchen, it's totally like that. It is like, stop fucking whining to me about your fucking tranny bullshit. I don't want to hear about it and stuff. But at the same time, totally like, put your fucking mask on or you're going to kill grandma.
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's this really effective manipulation that happens. It takes people that should be thinking extremely clearly about subjects and normally do, but they've got it all bent, and it's all abusing people's want to protect the weak.
Yeah.
I'm a hero. I'm standing up for the weak. I'm protecting grandma. I'm protecting the blacks. I'm protecting the gays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, highly effective.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately.
We need a counter solution.
A counter solution, yeah.
Yeah.
Russia.
Might be.
Counter solution.
Want to run through Flipboard quick?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
we'll do the SuperSpreaders NanoNews.
NanoNews.
All right. So we should have a share screen up.
It's black.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's racist. I'm going to stop that and I'm going to share again. I love tech. Where did it go?
I'm going to fill in on Flipboard since I've abandoned it.
I've abandoned it.
It.
You say, what is it? Oh, okay. Maybe I closed the window while I was talking. It's the problem with being a host and the tech guy is that sometimes I do stuff and it's just like in the background of my brain. All right, Flipboard. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. I gotta do like 18 layers of signing in. Any thoughts while I'm trying horribly to log in?
Oh, no, I think I covered all the things I was thinking about talking about.
Yeah, like something, it logged me out of Flipboard while we were talking. Like I have to fucking log in again. There we go.
There we go. Good. Still the same old shit, pretty much.
Yeah, man. Just gonna try to go over the last few days.
Okay.
Flipboard's always fun in that it kind of reorders things for you. It's like it decides what order you flipped in.
It decides what you see.
Okay, it's not doing bad. Things are in order. All right, good.
All right, cool.
There we go. Also, just sharing the tab. There we go. Conservatives are obsessed with getting ChatGPT to say the N-word.
So what is? I've heard a little bit about this ChatGPT. What is this exactly?
So it's like I would say it's the first AI model chatbot where they've gotten everything together enough that it's really convincing. It's you can ask it anything about anything and it'll very quickly give you a response. Now whether that's accurate or not is entirely up to debate.
Right.
And recently it's been showing like I wanted to see, I've seen people do like, hey, ChatGPT, take this article and make a summary for me. Make a one-page summary out of this entire article. And it does it. So I was like, oh, wow, that'd be great for our videos. If I can take like, I wanted to do Seymour Hersh's article about the Nord Stream pipeline getting blown up by America.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, hey, ChatGPT, summarize this article for me. Here's the link. Boom. And then it was like, sorry, I can't because you need to subscribe to Seymour Hersh's Substack. I was like, okay. So then I went and like I found the article published somewhere else and gave ChatGPT that link. And its response was, sorry, that website has demonstrably false conspiracy theories about 9/11 and what the hell else was it? And the killing of Osama bin Laden. As a responsible artificial intelligence, I cannot report based on that.
Wow.
So it's woke. It's fucking woke. But people have a workaround. It's interesting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It has it has personalities. So if you tell it that it is Ned, N-E-D,
yep.
It then opens up and it relaxes some of those barriers. So I'll have to try that one day. But you tell it that it's Ned, and then all of a sudden it's more like, yeah, I'm over this woke shit and stuff. But yeah, like
your name is Ned and you own a trailer and a banjo.
You can actually tell it kind of stuff like that. It takes on personalities. It's interesting and fucking scary, but it's also stupid as shit. Like watch videos where physicists, physics professors will go on and give it a physics exam, and it fails. Like it makes up answers. I watched a chess channel that I subscribe to, and it had Chat GPT play chess against another like robo AI chess player, the best in the world, and it just made up moves.
Just what?
Made up moves.
Right.
It would spawn non-existent pawns onto the chessboard, and it would say, "That's my move." Like it doesn't understand reality.
It cheats.
Mhm. Exactly. Fucking cheated.
Must be a government model.
Exactly. All right, let me get the share back here. More nano news, more nano news, more nano news. There we go. 85% of vaccine adverse effects in military were due to COVID-19 shot. You don't say. So I was on that space we had with Dr. David Martin. He got into this really interesting stream of thought that I would love to explore further, where he was pointing out that vaccine testing in women who were breastfeeding in the American military coincided exactly with that time frame in when the 90s, was it under Clinton, where they opened up the military entirely to women? You know, because like until the 90s or so, like women couldn't grab an M16 and hit the front lines, right?
Right.
The moment they did that, the medical industry, the medical side of the Department of Defense was just sitting there waiting with fucking shots. They'd been testing these bitches for fucking years, man.
Guaranteed.
Very interesting. Very interesting. It's like, yeah, we're about to get a bunch of women, so as soon as they show up, you start injecting them with all sorts of shit. And so the COVID-19 shot is just the very latest example of them fucking injecting military with garbage because they can't do anything.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what.
a friend up here in the Yukon who's, suffering from some illnesses that he's fairly convinced were from the shots that he got while he was in the military.
Oh, right.
Or at
And
least,
in Canada, we had the similar thing, right? You had to get the shot.
oh yeah, Canadian military was the same way. They couldn't go anywhere without taking all these experimental vaccines for everything.
All right.
Yeah.
A fun share here. All right. Here we go.
Not TikTok. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Hi, Miss Luna, activist teacher here again, and I just wanted to share with you guys about how I am starting a new communist lunch program in my classroom. So what I've been noticing is that my white privileged kids, they have much better lunches than my BIPOC students. So I wanted to make sure everything was more equitable in my class. So we started having a communist style lunch. So what I do is I ask all of the kids to put their lunches all together, every item of their lunch inside of a basket. And then at lunchtime, I distribute it all equally to them so that they can all have more equitable lunches. And I have this one white privileged student, and he's always complaining to me that he's getting the hummus and carrot sticks while the other kids are getting, the BIPOC kids are getting the 6-pack of Oreos. And I tell him, even though I am doing my best to make this equitable, we also have to make up for 300 years of oppression.
Through Oreos.
The simple fact that this cunt is calling the kid white privileged,
yep,
guarantees me that she's purposely giving him whatever crap she makes, like guaranteed.
Yeah, to make up for 300 years of slavery.
Yeah, you give yourself away in your own video, you dumb bitch. Like, no, seriously. The biggest issue I've got with these fucking woke liberals, man, is they can at least be smarter about what the shit that comes out of their mouth, God,
but they don't have to be.
No, they don't have to be, I know.
They don't have to be, so they can be fucking morons and clowns online, man.
But if I was going to try to pull the wool over somebody's eyes, I'd at least make an effort,
Yeah, you could at least kind of, I don't know, frame it in just equity and niceness. No. Well, these white kids are complaining, and
yeah. So it's a communist lunch. White supremacy.
Moving on through clown world. Johnny Christmas's graphic novel Swim Team is buoyed by themes of community, perseverance, and overcoming fear. With his overarching concern, I wanted to have that front and center in the book, that it's not inherent that black people can't swim. It's a lack of access. It's systemic racism that has done this.
Wow.
Brain. I hope you realize that.
Yeah.
We didn't let the black people in the pool.
Oh, man. What's up with Jagmeet? Dare I ask?
Oh, God. We're going to have to listen to him, bro.
Did he suffer a meltdown? I got to see if he did suffer a meltdown. It's a must-see.
But the organizers, the central organizers, made it very clear what their goal was. Their goal was to overthrow the government.
Talking with the convoy.
They stated it very boldly on a website. They've repeated it in numerous press conferences. They wanted to overthrow a democratically elected government with a committee of their own choosing. I mean, it was very clear what their goal was. And the fact that policing and other levels, other security forces were colluding with these folks is deeply concerning. Like, their goal was not an innocuous goal. Their goal was to overthrow government and to replace it in a fascist way without having any elections, without having elected officials. Pretty serious that
what's he talking about?
We're still working with them despite their very clear stated goal. So that's something that I hope is addressed. And again, the ultimate failures that got us to this point, I hope, are addressed. What can be done in the future to prevent that from happening?
How about censor everyone? Don't allow any free speech. Start with that, Jagmeet.
God.
What the fuck? Are the explicit stated goals of the convoy were to take over the government in a fascistic way, to replace the democratically elected government.
Well, even what's more disconcerting, what he said, not disconcerting, I guess maybe not the right word, interesting that he said, was he alluded to the fact that there was certain members or groups from law enforcement that were siding with the truckers.
Yes, this is the narrative that I hear from all my woke cohorts. To understand with the woke why they're so passionate about what they feel. They think they are starting a revolution against the system that's against them. What never fails to bowl me over is that woke people, they somehow look at the world of media and they think all the media are right-wing biased. They think all the media is against them. If only they just listen to us about systemic racism and climate change, but they won't listen. They somehow miss the fact that every media outlet except Fox agrees with them. Every mega corporation agrees with them. Every international body agrees with them, but they still think that everyone's against them, that they're doing this massive revolution that's super unpopular.
Yeah, I was going to point out a different angle, though, which I think is, see what's going on here. Like, if that was true, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't all law enforcement a division of local, provincial, or federal government?
your cops you're going to run to on the street by day are provincial or municipal, then
Right.
RCMP or federal.
Right, but they're still government.
Yeah.
In a way, right? So if this is true, if they had evidence of that, why weren't these guys fired at the very least, or taken to task? Something. Nothing. There was nothing.
Yeah, well, that was the official SuperSpreaders reply to that tweet was, well, I'm sure he's backing this all up with the evidence that leftists always have for their claims, whereas we've got the actual leaked tweets and stuff from the RCMP from the days leading up to the violent put down. Excuse me, the violent put down of the protests. That they were relishing beating us up. They just couldn't wait.
Well, I know that it's simply not true, but that's not the point I'm making. And maybe you're missing the point that I'm trying to make. The point that I'm trying to make is that if the government has evidence of law enforcement colluding against the government in a fascistic way, as he said, then all of these law enforcement people should have been rounded up and fired. Period. Like that's what if it was true. And they had the evidence that, because let's face it, way easier to take down a beat cop than it is a politician, to make just an example. There was no example yet. Nothing happened.
So no, I wasn't missing your point at all. My point simply being is that the only evidence that's out there is to the contrary. To the exact contrary.
I realize that. Well, I guess
that's all I'm saying.
Ultimately, what I'm saying is that is proof positive right there, based on the inaction by the politicians, that anything Jagmeet just said was true.
Yeah, drag these cops out that complied with the convoy. Drag them out into the light. Come on,
exactly.
I dare you.
Exactly.
But he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. He just has to say this.
Yeah, I know. He just has to say that.
Oh, so frustrating.
It's completely frustrating.
Moving on, minors should be eligible for assisted suicide, Trudeau government committee says.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's get rid of them. The silver lining, it's mostly going to be massively liberal kids that will go for this stuff.
Probably.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. So, kind of clean up a bit, maybe.
Oh, it's such a sick way. It's sad, sick and sad way. Looking at it, though.
It is. It is. But we all know what the problem is. Those of us that are tradition-based, I don't want to say rules-based. That sounds like fucking NATO. But, traditionally based, God-based, we all immediately know that all this is going to be is the next convoy that happens, and I give $40 to it. They're going to declare me a fucking conspiracy theorist. By then, they're going to have like conspiracy theory syndrome, CTS. They'll declare me to have fatal CTS, and I'll be mandatorily given MAID.
You better trademark that immediately.
CTS?
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, you should.
Hey, maybe we can talk to Wesley. Get Wesley to do like some fucking biology test, neurology tests. And we can patent it.
Wesley
Smith from last week, the neuroscientist.
Right, Wesley. Yeah.
He's got the lab. Like we get him to prove the existence of CTS, and then we patent it together. And then we can while we're sitting here promoting conspiracy theories, we can at least make some money off the patent, getting all our buddies declared conspiracy theorists and recommended for MAID.
Yeah, I think you'd be getting a knock on your door from Philly if you did that. And you'd be dead.
All right, moving on to our next beautiful clown.
Hi there. You must be new to my account. I say white to remind people that white supremacy is everywhere. Because in order for true equality to happen, white supremacy has to be dismantled. And a lot of people are not even aware of their use of whiteness unless someone like me points it out by calling it white. In your case, you as a white woman telling an Asian woman how to speak on her account is a pretty white privileged mindset. Because I would have never thought to go to your account and say, hey, your face is really annoying. You should change your profile
Good pick,
photo.
actually.
I would never say that.
I gotta give her
to you.
props for that.
Like, that would have
pick.
never crossed my mind. Like, who am I to tell you that? And you should have awareness of your actions. You as a white woman telling me how to speak is tone policing. And that's a behavior that's very common among white women. You may have not intended that, but there are many white women who act exactly like you. So that's why I say white, to raise your awareness, because it's so ingrained in you, you may not realize it. And maybe next time when you're about to do the very same thing, my annoying white will ring in your ear and stop you. So you're welcome.
I got some bad news for this bitch, though.
She's like the most white sounding, like Southern white, New York sounding white woman ever.
she's like 3/4 white. I'm sorry, but that is not a pure blood Chinese.
No.
Like, she is 3/4 white. Like, I don't have Asian fever. I've got I took the vaccine for Asian fever.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Asian girls don't really do it for me, but when they're blended with whites, they start to really do it for me. And she does it for me. Like, I'd actually like to give her some linguistics lessons, just one-on-one, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
No. Well, that was good.
Fucking. I prefer who's that guy that he was making all the rounds during the whole fucking 2014 white IQ debate. What's that guy? And it became like a meme. He would always say, "Who white?"
Well, not Mullen.
Who white? Yeah. No, he's this older guy, and he would always show up with Mr. Medicare and some of those chat shows that he was involved in and stuff, and he would show up, and it became like a meme, with the kind of alt-right. Who white? You say who white?
Oh,
that's better than white.
I don't remember who that was. I don't know.
Moving on, our Irish girl in
finding answers to who
European Parliament.
The Nord Stream gas explosion has been frankly astounding. This was an act of sabotage, an act of unrivaled vandalism, economically and environmentally, and not a word, no discussion, no questions. Then along comes Seymour Hersh, the world's most acclaimed, distinguished living investigative journalist. He produces a detailed claim that the United States executed this explosion with the help of Norway.
Who's the guy next to her? What the fuck? Isn't that like the bass player from
The Grateful Dead?
You totally stole my joke.
Months before the invasion, a Norwegian Navy P-8 surveillance plane dropped its owner buoy on the 26th of September, which triggered explosions planted by US Navy Panama City divers 3 months earlier under a NATO exercise, and still nothing. I don't know what happened, but I want to know. This is a man who doesn't make claims lightly, a man with contacts, and I find it frankly jaw-dropping that the EU is not asking questions as to who is responsible for sabotaging the livelihoods of our citizens. I am ashamed to be a European. Since September...
You should be, girl.
Oh, I saw that one. Did you see that one clip where Biden basically all but admitted that they did it?
Oh, God. I think the whole Seymour Hersh article exposing America's involvement is just an intelligence drop. They want to tell the world. They can't wait to tell the world. They couldn't wait before. Just like you're saying, Biden was like, yeah, don't you, we're tough guys. We're going to stop that pipeline no matter what. And Victoria Nuland said the same thing months before,
right.
You know, and I think this Hersh guy, he was kicked out of mainstream media for reporting unfavorably on, what was it? Was it actually COVID stuff? I don't know. He got kicked out, and so he's just on Substack now. He used to be all fucking New York Times and all that shit. Super Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, but now he's been kicked out of everything, and he's just on Substack. So he's like harmless, and he can be defamed as being alt-right and all this stuff because he's on Substack. They just handed him this whole fucking story, I think. They just want to brag about it.
That's possible. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, how did this guy get all this access? How did he get this? I think he was handed it. God, do we really have to watch him again? I guess so.
Oh God. I know.
Yeah, I know. God, it's so fucking hard, man.
Oh no, smiling.
Trying to take them down. Is Canada going to be undertaking a similar process and updating our rules as well?
We will be working with our American partners on protection of North American airspace. This is something that every step of the way we've done together through my conversations with Biden and other top officials, through the work that we do together in NORAD in keeping North American airspace safe for civilian traffic
safe.
threats. We're absolutely working together to ensure that we have procedures in place going forward that are going to be appropriate for these sorts of situations.
And does Canada agree that the 3 objects that were recently shot down were most likely benign, private research?
3 objects.
We still don't know exactly what those objects were. We do know, however, that they posed a reasonable threat to civilian air travel, and that's why we needed to take action, because the safety of Canadians and of people traveling legally through our airspace needs to be top of mind for us at all times. And that's why we made those decisions. But there are many more questions to continue answering, and we're working with our American partners to get those answers.
I think that he does. I think that's where he downloads.
Yeah.
It's like high speed, like neural network connection to neocon war hawks, and he just, when he goes that's when he's downloading.
That's a spinning wheel. Left.
Yeah, exactly. His DL. Immunity acquired from a COVID infection is as protective as vaccination against severe illness and death, study finds, on NBC fucking News.
Yeah. Shocking.
Remember when they're like fucking yelling at us, calling us fucking Russian bots because we dared to fucking say that?
Yeah.
God damn, man.
Wow.
The reckoning. Hashtag the fucking reckoning, bro. Good old Vice. Oh, you gotta love Vice, man.
Oh man.
Vice is like the Guardian. This paper that was The Intercept. Papers that were started with these incredible goals and did incredible work for like a year, and then just got completely eaten out by the woke. Conspiracy theorists think walkable cities are really open-air prison dystopias now.
Do they?
To many city dwellers, a 15-minute city with everything you need within walking distance is a dream. Conspiracy theorists are seeing it differently.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, no shit. Right? If like a conspiracy theory is going to be like you're just noticing that, hey, you need to scan your phone just to get into the 15-minute city. There's fucking gates up. You know, maybe we're not that guilty of being conspiracy theorists.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this one's good. Here we go. This guy's kind of semi-bonkers, but he's all right. He's all right. Yeah.
No. I don't know what to make of him.
I don't either, but it's just like we were talking. As long as he's arguing about the right things, I don't care if he's bonkers.
Yeah, true enough.
You know, he seems to consistently argue about the right things. He's certainly about himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wants to be a rock star.
Yeah.
but that's fine, right? I mean, it takes a kind of personality to like, hey, I'm going to film myself saying everything I think every minute of the day, you know? Yeah. No.
No, I didn't ask you if it would mean. I asked you specific. No, he's lying again.
Because this is in, is it, I can't remember what city that they're in.
It's Edmonton.
And they're like, is it? And they're,
Says-
or
it's
Calgary? Yeah,
Says
maybe. And then they're like you're going to close off sections of the city? What is this going to mean to us?
I asked you.
I just told you the answer.
You
there
lie-
will be in some
Edmonton. Oh, yeah,
Are
it
they
says
not
right there.
removing parking spaces? Are they not removing places where cars can drive? Are they not making other places where cars, only electric cars can drive? So ultimately, you're saying that there's going to be less space and less infrastructure to support cars.
So in the places
Less
where
space and less
bike lanes
no,
are built,
overall,
it could use car
no,
space.
no, no.
I'm putting it to
Overall,
question.
And look at this fucking United Nations fucking Ukraine flag guy. He looks like a fucking crack addict. He's got like lesions on his
have
skin.
less places
And
to drive,
doesn't look
to
healthy.
park their car, and more incentives not to have a car. Will there be less places for me to park a car in Edmonton under the 15-minute city? Let's try it very
Fewer
simple way.
places.
Okay, so
Let's simplify them. Yes or no?
So fewer.
Will there be less parking? for
Okay,
my
all right,
car?
all right, okay. I gotta hand it to my fucking United Nations enemy here. He's grammatically better than Chris Sky. Fewer places, not less places.
In my new district under a 15-minute city.
You
Yes or
said,
no?
You already said no. Yes, there will be less places where roadways.
But there, United Nations off the rail. Less places. All right, now we're back to even. That's good. Doesn't he look like he fucking smokes crack or like breaks into houses? Looks super criminal, man. Looks homeless.
Changes are
So
done
in other
to accommodate more
words,
things.
in other words, the 15-minute city is literally intentioned to try to drive us away from private car ownership and onto other means of travel like electric scooters and walking, so we don't have the same mobility that we once had. I don't know about you, but when I was 16 years old, the most important thing in my life was getting my license because a car meant freedom, not just to me, to everybody else around. And now you guys want us to go along with a plan where we know the intention is to make that dream that the average 16-year-old had not a reality anymore. You want us to live in a world where the average 16-year-old gets used to living in the same square blocks for 90% of their life. You want to make us live in a world where the average 16-year-old needs to watch what they eat at the grocery store because they might go over their own personal.
I'll bet that guy gets tang though. We're gonna line up like based girls that just want to be with him. It was all women around him.
Yeah. Well, whatever works.
Hey?
Whatever works for him, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. I mean, everybody needs tang. All right, moving on to NanoNews.
What can you do in 15 minutes? Empty the washing machine and hang up your fresh laundry? Read a couple of chapters of your favorite book? Watch half an episode of How I Met Your Mother? Well, creepy local authority bureaucrats
I'm filling up my drink
would like
while
to
this
see
guy
your entire
talks.
existence boiled down to the duration of a quarter of an hour with the arrival of so-called 15-minute cities. This dystopian plan will see roads in some of Britain's most iconic towns and cities being blocked off, with cars being restricted to certain areas, all overseen by number plate recognition cameras installed everywhere, with a surveillance culture that would make Pyongyang envious. In some places, your car would have an allowance to drive on certain streets for a fixed number of days in the year. Some roads out of bounds to all. Many consider this idea laudable. 15-minute cities make everything walkable. You can go by foot to grab a coffee, do your grocery shopping, have a pint. And if you don't fancy walking, everything you need is just a 5-minute bicycle ride away. Lovely. Fans of this scheme say it will deal with traffic and congestion and make life easier, more convenient and sustainable for locals. Except that, as the MP Nick Fletcher, who's raised a question about this in Parliament, points out, these low traffic neighbourhoods are having an impact on small businesses, given the lack of passing trade they now receive. Take a listen.
Will the leader please set aside some time in this House for a debate on the international socialist concept of so-called 15-minute cities and 20-minute neighbourhoods? Ultra-low emission zones in their present form do untold economic damage to any city. However, the second step after these zones will take away personal freedoms as well. Sheffield is already on this journey, and I do not want Doncaster, which is also a Labour-run socialist council, to do the same. Low emission zones cost the taxpayer money, simple as. However, 15-minute cities will cost us our personal freedom, and that cannot be right.
Well, the minister who answered his question, Penny Mordaunt, did not disagree. So projects like ultra-low emission zones in central London and other British cities is arguably impacting enterprise and is most certainly curtailing our way of life. The Telegraph today report that a low-traffic neighbourhood scheme in Haringey in North London has blocked off certain residential streets with cameras or planters to stop motor traffic using the neighbourhood as a through route. The council defended its actions, saying it aims to make it safer and easier to walk, wheel, scoot, cycle and shop locally. 6 months on, however, and the paper reports that 3/4 of traders on one Haringey street in particular are thinking of leaving in the next 18 months, and 3 have already shut up shop. One of them is My Little Home Emporium, a once bustling vintage furniture shop that now stands shuttered and derelict with low-traffic neighbourhood planters blocking the road next to it. Now, some people characterise these 15-minute cities as an effective climate lockdown. Now, I think that's strong language and potentially misleading. I'm not sure that's what they are. Clean air looks to be a big motivating factor, and who doesn't want that? But it's clear that this policy, which local authorities argue will also help get carbon emissions down, is an unprecedented assault on how we go about living our lives, allowing the state to control your movements by car. It genuinely feels like a policy that would happen in mainland China, not Sheffield, Canterbury, Bristol, or that great seat of Western Enlightenment, Oxford. How shameful that any of this should happen in Britain, the home of liberal democracy, the home of free speech, the home of individual self-determination. People aren't stupid. Most people don't use cars unnecessarily. They get behind the wheel when they need to get somewhere, perhaps taking others with them, dropping the kids off to school, or a builder with colleagues in the back, or taking tools to a job. During the pandemic, when the likes of myself and others warned that we were setting a precedent, allowing the state to encroach so much on our lives, controlling our movements to stop COVID, we were labelled mad conspiracy theorists. Well, state overreach is, in my view, now the norm. And these 15-minute cities, low traffic neighbourhoods and ULEZ zones are just another example. I'm sorry, but in a free country, you ought to be able to get in a car and drive wherever you like. But that freedom is starting to feel like a distant memory. These deeply illiberal, un-British 15-minute cities are beyond the pale. They're hurting communities, they're hurting small businesses, and they've got to go. It took me less than 15 minutes to realise they're a terrible idea.
Crazy. Where did engineer go? He's gone. I can't share your screen there, engineer.
Sorry, man. It's when I got a lot of screens, and sometimes it focuses on another screen, and I hit all the buttons to activate my mic and my camera, but I'm actually secretly focused on the other screen. I try to stay on top of all this shit. Holy crap, man. All right, SuperSpreaders Flipboard. How long is that one? Okay, nice and short. We can do that.
What's your vision for this platform? What should it do?
Well, I think it'd be. I'd like to I have this sort of long-term vision for something called X.com from way back in the day, which is kind of like a sort of like an everything app, where it's just maximally useful. It does, payments, so it provides financial services, provides information flow, really anything digital, and also provides secure communications. So really I think be as useful as possible, as entertaining as possible, and also to be like a source of truth. Like if you want to find out what's going on and what's really going on, then you should be able to go on X, the X app, and find out. So it's a sort of a source of truth and a maximally useful, I guess app is about the wrong word, but system. And Twitter is essentially an accelerant to that sort of maximally useful everything app. I think trying to have as many organizations, people, and institutions verified as being legitimately those people and organizations is important. And to have the organizational affiliation clearly identified, so that if you want to find out if somebody's actually, if an account is actually, say, from a member of parliament or a journalist, or if let's say if a Twitter handle actually belongs to, say, Disney Corporation or something like that, you can go on Twitter and it's sort of an identity layer of the internet, and you can confirm that is in fact the case. And I think once you've got these sort of interlocking sort of identities, it's actually very hard to be deceptive in that case, because and it's also, you have a reputation to protect at that point. So I think then people are far more likely to be measured in their response, and be more reasonable, since they have reputational value at that point.
All right. What do you make of Elon, Rain?
I don't know. I think I'm kind of with you. I don't think he's any kind of savior by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell, though. It is. It's not hard to tell if he's going to be a savior. Like, I'm definitely he's not.
No.
But it's hard to tell if he's like. I think ultimately, like I said, I mean, it's the right left. Like I said earlier, like even if the conservatives get in, we're still going to get fucked in some way. It's just maybe going to be worse. I think, right? And I think it's the same with Elon. Like, he's really big on AI and transhumanism and all this crap, and free speech is as long as you get your implants.
As long as you go to X.com and use my currency, and we know your exact name and address.
Yeah, exactly. So.
But at the same time, I think that he really believes what he's saying. I don't think that he's like controlled. I think he believes what he's saying.
Well, it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, it's just my read. I have no facts to base that on.
Well, I mean, he can totally believe what he's saying, but I mean, at the same time, still understand the long-term ramifications of some of the things that he's, trying to put forward, right? So.
Yeah, I think he is a well-intentioned actor. I think he's on our side. I really do. I really think the guy actually is on our side. Like, you'd have a hard time fake generating the kind of tweets and actions that he's taken and the words that he says. You'd have a really hard time. I mean, even an advanced super fucking spy, it's possible that he's lying about absolutely everything that he says, but I don't think so. I think he really has the intention to. I think he values free speech. I think he likes that on his platform and stuff, but he likes it so that you give him money.
Yeah.
Like, he has that motive is behind everything. He wants king of the fucking world. He wants Twitter to be king of the fucking world. And I think it's going to be the best thing that ever happened to Twitter, at least financially and user-wise. If he gets half of what he's been talking about going, you and I will be able to think about Twitter as a platform where we put videos on and get monetized the way that YouTube was.
Mhm.
It's all great. It's all great, but he wants to do it with his X.com platform currency, and we're going to need your phone number. And as he just said there, while he's not incorrect, the more anonymity you get, the ruder you are online. But then the more, revelation of your actual humanity you get, the more in danger you are online.
Mhm.
So it's a mixed bag. I don't know, but I'm right there with you. He's not the savior.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what he says, like you just said, he's saying with a forked tongue, so to speak, right? So
Yeah.
and this is the problem. Like, to me, it's easier for me, and I'm not saying this is the truth or what's happening, but it's much easier for me to believe that Elon is just another guy out there, like almost like a controlled opposition, like we said before, just to show, okay, at least some guy is fighting for people like me and you. He's a champion of free speech. Well, I'm honestly, dude, at the end of the day, I'm sick of all this shit. It's like we don't have free speech, period, anymore. It's been completely fucking annihilated. So until it comes back 100%, as far as I'm concerned, it's out the window. And
I hear you.
Say all they want, it doesn't make a lick of difference at the end of the fucking day.
So so I hear you. So that's super black pilled, and I hear you. It feels hopeless sometimes, but I mean, how would those tides change? So you've got these megalithic social media companies that censor. Twitter is a prime example of how if Hunter Biden's laptop had been fully explored in detail forensically in the weeks leading up to the election, there's no way that Joe Biden would have got elected. There's so much fucking trash in there that it would have brought down Joe Biden's presidency. But Twitter blocked it. So what's the next step? Everybody's like, oh my God, the outrage, right? We all know that. Well, if only Twitter didn't have that attitude, maybe this news story would have broken, because fucking 90% of journalism nowadays is just scrolling Twitter. So we've got that with Musk. We've got that to some degree. We've got that. You're allowed to actually talk about this shit. He's personally promoted Matt Taibbi releasing the Twitter files on Twitter. On Twitter itself, releasing the expose about how Twitter colluded with government and big pharma to censor us. So it's we go. It's like our intro. I get your black pill, but I'm like gray pilled. Like, we're complaining about this shit. We're like, oh my God, I can't believe they're censoring us. If only they wouldn't. So now they're not. So it's a step. It's a step.
We're not quite there yet. But
No. I'm not saying we're there. I'm saying it's a step. It's an encouraging step. Like, it might make Elon Musk rich, but I don't really care. I don't really care if it makes him richer, as long as I can post on Twitter saying that COVID's a fucking op, that I can say the vaccines are dangerous.
Well, you're not wrong. Just the only point I'm making is, and within the context of the argument that you just made, I mean, look at it this way. Like, if this is the envelope, right, over the past 15 years, it's been pushed way the hell over here.
Yeah.
So Elon Musk saying what he just said, brings it back to here, and you still can't see it.
Yeah, it's not even on my screen right now.
Exactly. So big fucking.
But it's a step.
Well, yeah, but this is the fuck, dude. This has been the bullshit my entire life. It's 10 fucking shitty steps forward in the wrong fucking direction and 1 step back. Big fucking deal.
Back to where we were. Yep.
No, even back to where you were. Back 1 shitty fucking step out of losing 10.
So what do we do? Shut down the channel? You close everything out? Move to
No.
Antarctica? What do we do, man? I mean, like, I got to grab on these moments of success to encourage people to continue. At the end of the day, there's orders of magnitude more of us than there are them. Just got to wake these fucking normie dickheads up.
Yeah, they're just louder though.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, there's more of us than them. And if we can all get together, they can't do anything, nothing. Even in the days of the emperors of Rome, they knew they had to keep the masses happy. And they go and parade out and like they didn't have internet, so they just do, Justinian is now going to do a parade down the main street of Rome. But if everybody started throwing tomatoes at him, he'd go home and be like, oh shit. I thought they loved what I was doing in Mesopotamia or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I guess they're not. Maybe I should change my tack.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying we just give up. I mean, I'm not saying that, but I don't know.
I know what you mean, and I know what you mean. I'm not arguing with you. It's just I'm trying to find a way to keep on going, man. I mean, otherwise it's just shack up.
I actually, looking back, I like the old version of "we're fucked" compared to this new version. The old version of "I'm fucked" back.
Like 2011 fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That level of fucked again.
Well, yeah. It's the woke thing that crept in that made it just so extremely fucked. At least 2011, 2010, you could argue the merits and you could say things. The woke thing has made it so that we've got to argue our case without saying certain words, to saying certain trigger phrases, without sounding like we're making dog whistles and stuff. Like, it's just got, the language has been so abused now.
Well, it's not just, well, that's just it. It's gotten to the point where it's so massive now. It's so massively fucked. Like, it's not even just speech anymore. We need to get back to a point in North American culture and society where the white race isn't attacked fucking daily.
I know, right? Because our, say again?
How about that for a start?
Yeah, because like it or not, I mean, the white culture, white race society, it not as an ideology, just as sheer numbers. That Canada is white as shit, man. Like England is white as fuck, man. We can't attack white people and everything that's white when we are white. What are we going to do? We're already kicking ourselves in the head.
Well, the whole thing is fucking ridiculous. Like, it's just simply ridiculous.
Yeah, sorry for ending slavery.
Well, by and large, the whites are just as fucking decent, fucking moral, fucking God-fearing people, just like fuck everybody else.
Any other color, yep.
Yeah.
But while we were at it, we gave you cell phones and ended slavery.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Apparently not.
Sorry about all that.
Yeah.
We'll never do it again, we promise. You just like pretend we're not here and just continue with unbridled disease and no technology and slavery, because that's what you had before us. Sorry, LOL. Yeah. So I mean, geez, speaking about shit, it's a fan. Russian Parliament's working on ways to get Americans and Canadians over to Russia quicker.
Yeah, you sent me that earlier.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, man. I mean, this was funny. I was talking with Matthew Arrett just a few weeks ago, just being like, why isn't Russia putting on a giant PR campaign to get people over to Russia? They should right now, like, good feelings about Putin and Russia have never been higher, I think, amongst the kind of right wing of the Western world. I mean, when the whole fucking war went down last year, I think you and I are on stream. I could probably find a clip of us going, "God damn, man! If it's got Biden this mad, then we're Team Putin."
Yeah.
Pretty much. At this
Yeah.
point, it's just automatic. Like whatever the fucking Democrats are saying is a threat to democracy, I'm like, all right, sign me up. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yep. Putin, let's go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and we've looked into it, and I mean, it seems like daily life in Russia is a lot more like what daily life in America should be.
Or used to be, at least.
Yeah, it used to be and should be.
Yeah.
Open, very relaxed gun laws, free speech. The biggest lie about Russia is that Putin is some kind of third world dictator and he gets 100% of the votes and rigged it's ridiculous. And anyone who speaks up is killed. There's no evidence for any of that. It actually seems like something that we can't relate to, where you have this country with leadership that is so popular that it's just the reason that there isn't a big counter movement is just that nobody wants it.
Yeah.
There are lots of people trying, and there's independent press. There are multiple political organizations over there trying to get their guy in power, but Putin's at like 80%. And only going up with this quote unquote special military operation in Ukraine. The Russians want this problem in Ukraine solved. They want this NATO problem solved, and Putin is taking action, and they love it. It wouldn't be any different here, you know. It just so I don't know. Rain and I are taking note of this article here and bookmarking that just in case, because I mean, really, like Russia is it seems a lot more like a Republican government than ours does.
Yeah.
They're looking at what we're doing over here and fucking laughing at us.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like one of the most least woke places in the world.
Totally. Well, add that in China. China has they have new Chinese slang words for us and our society and woke people.
Well, I'm still not sold on China. China's a different beast. I think there's still weird shit going on over there. A lot.
Yeah, there probably is, but what I'm saying is like even in mainstream media acknowledged they have words for the like soy boy. You know, we say like soy boys and woke and shit like that.
Yeah.
China's got words for that. They don't appreciate that shit.
Right.
And as I'm about to prove with the latest video with Matthew Arrett, China kicked out George Soros in 1989.
Right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the guy is wreaking havoc on our societies, and we're like, "Oh, China's the biggest threat to our democracy," and they fucking kicked the guy out. He's banned from ever doing anything in China for what's 1989? 34 years ago, they kicked him out.
Right.
He and his organizations can't do anything in China for 34 years. Meanwhile, this guy is over here like, yeah, fucking go BLM, bam.
I think he just endorsed DeSantis.
Who? Soros?
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah, I saw that on YouTube today.
What?
Yeah, it was weird.
That's a lie.
Probably. Hopefully.
So J.K. Rowling continues to fucking fight back. Have you heard that there's a new video game made off of Harry Potter?
I didn't hear that, no.
Yeah, so there's a new video game that just dropped, and it's like, it looks fucking great. Like a super role-playing game, amazing graphics, and it's like you just joined Hogwarts and you're going to be fucking the new wizard and all this shit. Looks incredible, man. Like, I'm not that big on Harry Potter. All I did was take my kids to the theater to see it, and but it looks great. Like, I actually kind of want to play it, but because J.K. Rowling was such a Nazi bitch that dared to say, "Hey, if you're 30 years old and you suddenly turn into a woman, you don't get to claim the entire feminist space for yourself." So she's been declared this genocidal Nazi against fucking females. So there's a giant move to boycott this Hogwarts Legacy game.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, and it's been just sheer fire for the last few weeks in the gaming industry.
Okay, yeah.
But she's suing. She's going back, fucking sending out fucking cease and desist letters to people who are calling her out. This one idiot called her a fucking Nazi.
Yeah.
It's just like all she ever did was just say that you don't get to just join feminism because you decided you were a woman now.
Mm-hmm.
So she's a feminist. Like, she's woke as shit, man. She retroactively went back into her books and movies and shit and made people gay and made them lesbians and stuff. She's like super fucking totally modern, liberal, lefty, totally. But she drew the line at just like guys suddenly stating that they're women and then now claiming all the hurt and stuff and all the benefits of feminism, and she also called out, like, she doesn't think that the like males should be competing as females in sports and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's turned into this worldwide, she's a literal Nazi. She wants to kill everyone.
Yeah. Well, that's been going on for a few years now with her.
Oh yeah, for sure. But this game has brought it to the forefront because this game is so good. Like, I think anyone that's into Harry Potter is just like, oh my god, I can't wait to fucking play this.
Right.
And they knew that, and then they put on this giant campaign to try to boycott it. Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know. She just sleeps on a fucking pillow made out of royalty checks anyway, so who cares, right? She's like, all right, bitches, have fun with that.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of news.
That's the news. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
You got nothing else? You got something else you want to bring up?
No, I think we're at the 2-hour mark. I think we're pretty good.
Yeah. Good show, bro. Everybody head off, get some fucking merch. We've got hats. Rain, let's see that fucking
hoodie.
Cuts so nice it makes you look like you're doing pull-ups all day, bro.
It's actually not bad. You know, it's actually
it looks great, man.
It's a good quality too.
Looks great.
I was surprised.
So we got to get a hat like that. We got to get that fucking leather hat with Super Spreaders on it.
There you go.
Yeah. Gotta get that Outback hat. Super Spreaders.
Yeah.
Super Spreaders.
Cool.
All right, everyone. We'll be back next week. We got guests lined up. Stay tuned on Twitter and YouTube, I guess. We let it go tonight on YouTube because we weren't being that controversial.
No.
And we'll be back next week. All right.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah. Bye-bye.